to testimony. All right, Ms. Lopez, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. And after our consent committee amendments on page 4 and 5 of the analysis, AB 563 established a 2-year pilot program for development means to address the service gap or unmet need of the aging adult with intellectual development disabilities. As individual with development disability age, they will require a unique setting of service support, which currently not in place. Under existing law, the landmark at regional center are not provide needed service to individuals with development disabilities through all the ages their lives. Currently, the regional center system provides a specific service for infants, children, and adolescents, adults. There is not a specific regional center unit that addresses the unique needs of older adults. Here are with me Ken Lane and Dana Lane of the Adult Skills Center to answer any question that you might have.
Thank you. Donna.
Hi, my name is Dr. Donna Lane. I'm a clinical psychologist and the director of the Adults Skills Center Older Adults Program. And this is Ken Lane. He is the executive director of the Adult Skills Center. The reason I'm here is I worked for 18 years as a case manager at North LA County Regional Center. And during that time, I worked with families and individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. And I was able to see the process of aging. And what I really found distressing was that there were no services dealing with aging and with end-of-life issues, and there were no supports to provide for this group of individuals. The regional center system, there's 21 regional centers in California, and they're really mandated by the Lanterman Act to provide the supports for individuals with developmental disabilities. Historically, people with developmental disabilities, usually their parents would outlive them. But because of the medical technology today, now we have aging caregivers and we have adult children who outlive their parents. Currently, there are no specific services to provide for this group of people. We have, in the regional centers, we have school age units, which provide for school age, and we have children's unit, we have the adult unit, but there is no unit for older adults. And we really know that this population requires specialized training, requires specialized services. Right now, if you look at the service standards for the regional centers, what they'll say is that when you need services, refer to the community, the senior centers, or other programs for aging adults. And that really does not, I mean, that's the reason why the regional center was created, because the individuals require specialized services. So what we're asking is for a pilot program to begin to investigate and explore what the needs are, because with the baby boomers, aging caregivers, it's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse and worse. Right now, what we found is that certain vendors and some regional centers actually have an older adult unit. I'd like to call it a successful aging unit to kind of make it more positive. That way you could address the special needs, the socialization needs, the end-of-life issues needs, where you want to live, and make it more cultural, individualized, because every family is different. Where I want to live and what my social skills and what my religious needs are different from maybe someone else. So we need to have special training to deal with sensitivity with the case managers, so that we avoid ageism, so that we avoid discomfort. Many case managers don't even ask the parents, do you have a plan when you're not able to take care of your child? Because they're uncomfortable asking that question. So we need specific training to address this. So what I'm asking is that we have a pilot program, because I don't have all the answers, but we have to know throughout the state of California what would serve the needs of older adults in each area. So that's what we're asking.
Great, thank you.
Well, that was great. There's not much I can add to that, except to say I'm the executive director of the Adult Skills Center, and we got a grant from the John Gogian Foundation to be able to do what are called successful aging plans. Older adult issues are a real high priority for us. We work with folks, all adults, but the adults that are older adults, 45 years and older, do have specialized needs. A lot of programs, Tierra del Sol, New Horizons, Task, and others, are doing what they can, but it's very difficult. Don and I have met with the regional center in North LA. They totally agree. This is exactly what's needed, but there's really not much they can do about it. They need to get some direction from you all, so hopefully you will support this effort. Thank
And
you.
really what we're asking is that
you.
this group of people needs to be acknowledged. Yes, they're adults, but they're older adults. And just like your parents and grandparents, their needs are different than our needs. And that's really what we're asking, is that we begin to look at it.
Great, thank you. Any public wants to add on?
Bob Giavotti with the State Council on Developmental Disabilities. While we don't have a formal support position right now, we're certainly moving in that direction. And I will say I'm also the father of an adult special needs child. And this is the issue that's going to bulldoze the state's finances here in 10 or 20 years. The state isn't ready for it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Most of the glitz and glitter and media attention go to the children because those are the tug on the heartstrings type stories everybody wants to hear. But in reality, there is a great need for services for adults. And so we support this bill in concept. Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
put. Thank you.
Richard Shawn, Senior Senator representing the California Senior Legislature, and we are most definitely in support of this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Robert Harris on behalf of SAIU California, our 700,000 members, and especially our 8,000 members work in regional centers and service providers who think this is a very good idea, that we were thrilled to see the bill, and we want to work with the author to make sure that something really positive comes out of this, because it's a huge problem. Thank you.
That's great.
Great, thank you very much. Any opposition? Seeing none, any questions? Thank you. All right, I'll definitely be supporting the bill. It's great to know that people with intellectual or developmental disability are living longer, hopefully more fulfilling life. And I'll definitely be supporting the bill because I think it's imperative that we meet the need of our aging regional center population as effectively as possible. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, do you want to close?
Yes, I'm just asking you for your high vote.
Thank you very much.
Motion is due pass as amended to the Aging and Long-Term Care Committee. Two.
Aye.
Two, aye. Mays. Aye. Mays, aye. Calderon. Aye. Calderon, aye. Lopez.
Aye.
Lopez, aye. Mainshine. Stone. Stone, aye. Thurmond. The bill is out.
The bill is out.
5 votes.
5 votes. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lopez. You have one more to go.
Yeah,
Don't leave
that-
the podium yet.
Yes, the AB 85 are going to postpone. No. Oh, yes, we have it?
Oh, 85.
Okay, great.
All right, come on.
Oh, okay. Great. I'm sorry. That's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I'm pleased to present to you AB 85, which clarifies certain parts of the laws. This bill ensures that former foster youth between the age 18 and 21 are available to re-enter the foster care system, and their permanent relationship has been disrupted. In some instances, the foster youth have suffering the loss of the guardian or the guardianship was stopped caring for them. They legally become adults. This bill will be allowed for those young adults to have the proper support for the reach the goals and become active citizens in our society. Here today with me, I have two witnesses in support will share their testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Kathy Senderling with the County Welfare Directors Association in support of the legislation. As you know, AB 12 was just landmark legislation that allowed youth to remain in care past the age of 18 and up to age 21 for the first time. Since the bill was enacted in 2010, we've been doing rounds of cleanup to it as we realize inadvertent gaps to the coverage, which children can enroll, or if they leave care, come back and re-enter, which is what this bill addresses. Last year, legislation AB 2454 was signed that made it clear that if a child who had exited foster care to a guardianship or a permanent adoption had something happen with that adoption or guardianship, if it disrupted in some way, the adoptive parent or guardian passed away, for example, they would not have to re-enter the entire court process in order to become an AB 12 youth and participate in that extended care. They would instead be able to petition the court to more quickly re-enter and establish that ability. Unfortunately, there were just a couple of gaps in that legislation as well. That's what AB 885 is seeking to address. First, it's saying that that if it disrupts, if the guardianship or the adoption disrupts, that we'll be able to have that youth re-enter. The way that the prior bill was structured, it talked about the benefits being provided, and it turns out that it can be tricky to figure out when did the benefits end, have we terminated them, it can be in the middle of a month. So there's just some technicalities that make it difficult for that language to actually be effective for our young people, and so this would eliminate that requirement. And then as well, it had a limit on the benefits that they were receiving being what we call AFDC-FC benefits, a particular type of foster care benefits, and that's not always the type of benefits that these individuals are receiving. And so again, that would be eliminated by AB 885, ensuring that if they meet the other requirements, they had the adoption, they had the guardianship, and it disrupted, they would be able to re-enter care and become AB 12 individuals. That's in line with the intent, we believe, of last year's bill, and it just cleans up the inadvertent gaps that were created by the way the bill was drafted.
Move the
For
bill.
those reasons, we support.
Thank you so much. Is there any additional people wanted to add on in support?
Hi, Jackie Ruthiser with the California Alliance of Child and Family Services. I'll be brief. We represent 120 agencies, but 44 of our agencies are adoption agencies specific to foster care. What we find is the older foster youth between ages 16 to 18 are the most in need of permanency, and we want to take away any obstacle that would prevent them from not getting adopted and going into guardianship. And the fear that maybe it won't work after they're 18 does create an obstacle, and this removes that and will help the youth find permanency for life. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Susanna Niffen with Children Now, here in support.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Melissa Bandit with the Children's Law Center of California, in support.
Thank you very much. Any opposition? Any question from the members?
Yeah. How long does it take on average to halt payment, and why is it so difficult? It seems to me that this should be an administrative fix. Why do we need legislation to fix this?
So I don't have specific case examples, Assembly Member, but in talking with the sponsors of the bill, the structure in which the youth comes to our attention, that they find out that they may be able to re-enter, sometimes they're kind of lost. They don't realize what has happened. If the guardian, for example, and this is in a minority of cases, these are not often that these things happen, has stopped caring for them, has for some reason asked them to leave the home. To them, that guardianship has disrupted, and we need to take action on the administrative side to dissolve that, to stop the payments, and we can do that, and we will do that. But in the meantime, it can be days or weeks where that youth doesn't have anything. And so what we're trying to do is be able to get them back into the system, to get them into AB 12 while we're also on the administrative side doing what we need to do to say this guardianship or this adoption is no longer valid. We're stopping the payment. Those things just don't always work perfectly together. We're not, to my knowledge, talking gaps of months here. We could be days or weeks, but for a youth who doesn't have a place to live, who may be couch surfing with friends, who may not have anything to eat, those days and weeks can make a difference for them. And so that's why we do support the bill. I hope that's helpful.
Great. Any questions? Any additional question from the member? Ms. Lopez, would you like to close?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just asking for your aye vote.
All right, thank you very much. And we do have a motion and a second. Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass to the Judiciary Committee. Chu?
Aye.
Chu, aye. Mays? Mays, aye. Calderon? Calderon, aye. Lopez?
Aye.
Lopez, aye. Mainshine? Mainshine, aye. Stone? Stone, aye. Thurmond. The bill is out. 6-0.
Vote this out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The 4 out of 4. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. I see Mr. Mullins here. Are you ready to present your bill AB 762? Yes, sir. Whenever you're ready.